Once upon a time, in a quiet countryside pond, lived two frogs who were more than just friends. They were brothers by heart. One was a bit chubby, always cheerful and full of jokes. The other was slim, sharp, and curious. Despite their differences, they were inseparable. Every day they explored the world beyond their pond. They believed life was an adventure meant to be lived fully, leaping from one challenge to the next, always side by side. One sunny afternoon, as they were hopping through a farm, they spotted a large wooden bucket beside a stable. The farmer had left it there by accident. "Let's check it out," said the fat frog, his eyes shining with mischief. "Wait, what if it's dangerous?" the skinny frog replied cautiously. But curiosity got the better of them. They leaped, and that was the mistake. The bucket was filled with fresh, cold milk. As soon as they hit the surface, they realized something horrifying. The walls were tall and slick. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't get out. They paddled and splashed, but the sides were too steep. The milk gave them no grip. Their cheerful adventure had turned into a nightmare. As the sun dipped lower into the horizon, casting an orange hue over the lip of the wooden bucket, the two frogs continued their hopeless battle against the thick pool of milk. Their limbs had grown tired. Their breath had turned shallow. For hours, they had paddled and kicked with every ounce of strength they had left. The fat frog, once full of joy and loud croaks, had fallen silent. His paddling slowed. "Brother," he gasped, "there is no point. No one knows we're here. No one is coming. We are going to drown." The skinny frog turned, desperate, panting. "Don't say that. If we keep moving, maybe something will happen. The moment we stop, it's over." But the fat frog, heavy in both body and spirit, was already sinking into despair. "My legs can't take it anymore," he said, his voice low. "What's the use of trying when you know the ending?" The skinny frog wanted to argue, to shake sense into his friend, but he knew. When the heart gives up, the body soon follows. Then came silence. The fat frog stopped moving. His body, exhausted and resigned, slipped under the surface. The skinny frog screamed, "No, don't give up, stay with me." But it was too late. The milk swallowed him whole. For a moment, the skinny frog stopped paddling, stunned by grief. He floated in place, shaking from both exertion and heartbreak. That was his brother in all but blood, his best friend since tadpole days. Gone. Tears welled up in his eyes, but there was no time to cry. Not here, not now. One of them had to make it out. He clenched his little frog fists. "I can't let this be the end." And so, with every ounce of energy and emotion, he kicked, he paddled, he fought, he screamed into the night, "I will not give up." The hours dragged by, stars appeared, crickets sang, the moon climbed high into the sky, and still he paddled. His body was numb. His mind played cruel tricks on him. He imagined warm ponds and soft mud, a family, freedom. Then, something changed. He noticed that with every movement, the milk beneath him felt thicker. Not much, but enough to keep him slightly more afloat. Was he imagining it? It was real. He realized that his endless paddling was changing the milk. It was slowly churning into butter. The once slick liquid had begun to solidify. His heart leapt. He paddled faster, harder, ignoring the pain. The thicker it got, the more he could push against it. He was no longer just fighting to stay alive. He was shaping his survival. Hours passed. His legs burned, but he refused to stop. By midnight, the milk had transformed into a dense pad of butter, solid enough for him to push his legs down and leap up. With one last desperate jump, he launched himself upward, his legs trembling, his body spent, and he caught the edge of the bucket. Panting, he scrambled up and over the rim, falling to the grass outside. He lay there, flat, exhausted, not believing he had done it. He was alive. He was free. He looked back at the bucket, his prison, his battlefield, and his brother's grave. "I'm sorry," he whispered, "but I'll carry your memory with me. I'll live for both of us." And with that, the skinny frog hopped away into the forest, a changed soul. He had learned something no lecture or lesson could teach. You only lose when you stop trying. But if you keep going, even when all seems lost, life will find a way to reward your courage. Even milk can become butter. Even a frog can survive the impossible. The frog hopped through the tall grass under the silver glow of the moonlight. Each blade brushed against his skin like a soft reminder. You survived. You're still here. But survival was no longer enough. As he made his way back to the marshlands he once called home, he felt it. Something had shifted inside him. His muscles ached, his heart felt hollow. But in that emptiness, there was space for something new to grow. When he arrived at the edge of the pond, he stopped and looked at his reflection. He didn't recognize himself, not because his face had changed, but because his soul had aged. The pond was quiet. Too quiet. Most frogs were asleep. But word of his survival traveled faster than fireflies in the wind. By morning, a circle had formed around him. Frogs of all shapes and sizes, from tadpoles to elders. They listened, riveted, as he told them his tale. Not with pride, but with sorrow. He spoke of struggle, of his lost friend, and of the butter that saved his life. When he finished, silence hung in the air like morning fog. A young frog croaked, voice trembling, "Would I have given up like your friend?" The older frogs bowed their heads. Some had seen tragedy, but none had seen this. The skinny frog, now stronger in spirit than ever, stood and addressed them all. Giving up is easy. Trying again and again is what makes us grow. He paused. And it's not enough to survive. We must help others survive too. From that day forward, he made it his mission to teach resilience. Not just in words, but in action. He trained the young to swim longer, leap higher, and most importantly, to never give up. Life can feel like a cold bucket of milk, slippery, exhausting, and seemingly impossible to escape. But if you keep kicking, keep trying, then one day you'll create the foundation yourself to leap out of hardship and start again. If this story touched you, hit the subscribe button for Stay Inspired 86 so we can keep bringing you powerful, meaningful stories that inspire strength, hope, and clarity every single day. We can't change the past, but we can choose not to give up, starting today.